So, hello everybody. Thanks for coming. My name is Mark. I have been working in e-commerce for 20 years, building e-commerce websites. And today, I'd like to talk to you about how we've been thinking about solving the problem of integration. So, I'll tell you a little bit of a story first. I first got into e-commerce about 20 years ago. Started off building an e-commerce website for a mail order company, and we needed to integrate that e-commerce website to an order management system. And we did it by using flat files, so we were transferring information between the two systems using files. And it was quite enjoyable, quite fun, but it was time-consuming to do. It took about 8 to 12 weeks to build that integration. And then when we built it, we had quite poor visibility, so most of the time it worked fine. We didn't have any issues, but occasionally there were problems, and identifying those problems and digging through the files and trying to fix it was challenging because we didn't have a good view of what was going on. So, as I said, that was 20 years ago. Fast forward to today, and we have much more complex solutions now. So, when we're delivering an e-commerce platform, we have multiple services and features that we're putting together. And the architecture looks a little bit like this. So you have the red boxes, and these are all kind of on-site third-party solutions. So this would be address lookup, payments, shipping, delivery, reviews, UGC, search and merchandising, personalization. These are all services that quite often are additional to your base e-commerce platform. Not always, but sometimes they are. And then we have the other integrations that are more complex, so marketing automation with your email platform, order management, perhaps warehousing or ERP. Added to that, we also have microservice architecture, which is gaining a lot more traction, and that just explodes this diagram before. That middle box becomes another 5 or 6 boxes. So the number of systems that you need to make sure speak to each other has exploded. And typically we're seeing about 10 to 15 separate solutions that we need to stitch together when we're doing a project. So I kind of categorize these different connections because some of them are not really a problem. So we've got the green arrows. And these ones are where you've got to plug in for your e-com platform. You plug it in, you turn it on, you configure it. Generally, they work. And they don't give you much problems, so those are the green ones. We have the yellow ones, which there's usually a standard plugin for them, but sometimes you need to supplement them. It may not do exactly what you want it to do, so you have to do something to enhance it to add a bit of data or track an event that you don't have out of the box. And then we have the red ones, and these are the integrations that typically there isn't an out-of-the-box solution for, and these are the ones that we're kind of building from scratch again and again. And so we focused our product on these kind of integrations. So what we're trying to do here is how do we make these integrations faster, more efficient, run more smoothly, and make it run smoothly so you can focus on your business. So just cover off the challenges that we had over 20 years of building these kind of integrations. It was time-consuming. It takes a lot of time, scope it out, test it, build the integrations, a lot of manual work. We had a lack of visibility. When there was an issue, you don't get alerts, you've got to dig into it, you've got to find out what's going on. And it's expensive to build and maintain to keep these integrations going. So this is the problems we were trying to solve. And there are other solutions out there that take a kind of plug-and-play, out-the-box approach to this. And what we found with them was that quite often those out-the-box integrations didn't do exactly what we wanted them to do. So we had to change them, configure them. We had to enhance them in many ways. So we took a different approach to integration. And what we built was an integration toolkit. So we have a toolkit, set of tools that you can deploy quickly to allow you to integrate any e-commerce platform with any other third party that you might wish to. And so we have a set of tools that connect to any data source. So you can pick up from files, you can connect to a database, you can pull from an API, or you can have a webhook trigger something into the system. You then have a set of modules that allow you to transform that data, manipulate it in any way that you want, and put it into any format that you want, and then, push it out the other end. So we can push it into a file, an API, a database, whatever source of information you want. So that's what Appio does. It allows you to connect two systems together quickly. And just going back to the microservice bit, if you're interested, we built Appio as a microservice solution. If you would like to find out more about how we did it, you can speak to Sam, he's over there, or come to our stand. We're at F64, and he'll be happy to talk you through the architecture. But what we tried to do was build it in a way that we see the industry going anyway. So we were trying to build something that that was future-proof. But what I want to do is just show you a little bit how it works, give you some examples and some common use cases of what we're doing with Appio. So the first one is connecting a warehouse to an e-com platform. And typically it's one, but quite often it's more, it's 4 or 5 that we're doing. And the way these integrations typically work is you have what I call an interface. So you'd have an order goes from your platform to your warehouse. Then you have a dispatch that goes from the warehouse back to the platform, say it's been dispatched. And you might have a stock feed, either going to your e-commerce platform or your ERP, depending on how you wanted to architect it. And so what we do is we build an interface. A little bit technical, so forgive me for that. We have a set of steps that you can go through. So you always have an input. So in this case, we're pulling some information from a database. So we're selecting the orders that haven't been sent to the warehouse. We're then pulling all the items together for that order. We're doing a little bit of a manipulation on the data, so there's just JavaScript. You don't have to be a programmer to use Appio, but you need to be technical. But you can have your technical teams do it. And then we're putting it into an XML format for the warehouse that they gave us as a definition they wanted it in. And then we set the file, the path we're to send it to, and we FTP it to the warehouse. And at the end, we're kind of doing a bit of wrap-up. We're putting some notes in the ecom platform. We're setting some flags to say what we've done. And that's it. And it's a drag and drop. You just pull in the thing. You can put as many steps into the interface as you want, and you can do whatever you want with it. If you want to go into detail, we can come and see us at the stand, and we can show you exactly how things work. A couple other use cases. So the ERP, typically a bigger integration, typically 8 to 10 interfaces. So we'll be pushing orders, returns, or credit memos, refunds, stock, product information, price information, sometimes some accounting stuff. So it depends on the depth of the integration. But the ERP is typically a bigger integration. So I'm not going to go through the details on that one. It would take a while. The other bit we're doing is data manipulation. So say, for example, you've got a Shopify or a BigCommerce e-commerce platform or a SaaS platform of some kind. It's pushing you data in a set format, and you need to change that. So we can sit in front of that API, and we can pull the information from the SaaS platform, manipulate it in a way, and then push it out somewhere else. So you can just sit in front, and it's a quick way of changing that data into the format that you need for your ERP solution or whatever it is. The other use case that we're using for is automating returns. So if you have a warehouse that is tracking your returns coming in for you, and a system that we can pull from, so we can pick up those returns using Appio. We can create a little microservice to review those returns and automatically refund anything coming in if it's in a sellable state. And if it's not in a sellable state, flag it to be reviewed by your customer services team. We're also doing automatic reconciliation. So this is pulling from multiple sources and connecting it. So if your accounting system, you're telling the accounting system all of the orders and the money coming into your bank account, and you're reconciling those 3 things together. And we're using Appio to pull that information from multiple sources and enable that. Now, those last 2 are really focused on trying to drive operational efficiency and save time. So these are the ones that I particularly enjoy doing. So a little bit of an overview, just to recap on what we do. We have a system that's a toolkit that allows you to build in a drag-and-drop interface any connection and any manipulation from one point to another. The main focus is to give you quick builds. So we're trying to reduce the build time here. And as an example, that integration I did 20 years ago that took me 8 to 12 weeks. We recently did one that took 3 days. And it took 2 weeks to complete, but that was testing and scoping. The actual dev time was about 3 days. So the way we were able to do that is we have a templating system built within Appio, so you can reuse an integration you've built before. So you could say, I've done this before, export that, import it to a new interface, change the configuration, and you're up and running, and all you need to do is test. We have full visibility of everything that's flowing through the system. So you have graphing of errors and warnings and alerting, but you also have a detailed event log, so you can interrogate all the information that's being passed from point A to point B. So if you have a problem, it's very easy to see where it is and look at what happened. Little point on our pricing philosophy. We really wanted a platform that's accessible to everybody, from startups to enterprise. So we have a scaling pricing policy starting from free, so you can put a certain amount of information through the system without paying anything, and then you pay for what you put through it. So you're paying for what you use. And then we also reward efficiency. So if you build a really efficient integration that doesn't have a lot of complexity, then we reward that in our pricing as well, and it'll be cheaper for you. If you'd like to know more, we're at Stand F64, so please come and have a chat. You can book a session with Sam, our CTO, if you wanted to get technical and get his advice on your integrations, or anyone else on the team would be happy to give you a demo. So thank you very much.